All right, if you don't mind, for the camera, just telling me what your full name is again.
Emillio Magliacane.
And how old are you?
I am 95. 95.
Where did you grow up, Emilio?
I grew up mostly in Gardner, Mass. I was, I believe I was 5 or 6 years old when we came up to Gardner. And we moved there because of the Haywood Wakefield Company. He had a job in Wakefield because they had that big plant there, and they had a huge one up here in Gardner. So it was either move to Gardner to have a job or not have a job, and being an immigrant, he didn't have much choice. So he came to Gardner here, and people said, "Oh my God, you're going to see some snow like you've never seen in your life up here." So that was our introduction to Gardner, Mass.
Were you in Gardner when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember where you were that day?
I believe I was in the house, and it came on the radio, and it so infuriated me. Oh, I was 17 then, and I happened to see the movie with Tyrone Power. It was named Blood and Sand, and of course the Marines are always getting the worst of it, and Wallace Berry was in there, and Tyrone Power. It was a great movie. And after I seen the movie, I enlisted. I mean, it had that effect on me, My mother, she was beside herself when she heard it. Well, I said, either I go where I want to go, or they're going to draft me in and put me where I don't want to go. So, kind of eased her a little bit, but not much. My mother was a very great woman for her children. Oh my God, she'd die for us. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And so that's it. I enlisted, and shortly thereafter they told me to go down to Fort Devens, take a physical, which I did, and then they shipped me to Paris Island. Oh my God, I was up all night on the train, the soot from the engine, that coal-fired engine, Oh my God, it was a mess. We did get to see Washington, the Capitol. I walked about 10, 15 steps and walked back down again. That was my tour of Washington.
Did you have any other siblings in the military?
My brother Fred. I got his picture up there, but he passed away.
What branch was he in?
He was in the Seabees. Yeah. Yeah, he was.
What month did you? So I'm assuming you headed to boot camp in 1943.
You shouldn't ask me that.
Well, in the train.
It was at least 44 anyway.
Okay. During the train ride, was it winter time, fall time? Do you remember?
It was the fall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we had our overcoats on and black faces like you wouldn't believe from the coal-fired train engine,
I've heard other veterans tell me that.
Oh my God, yeah. And the zoot suiters from New York, there was one there that had them baggy pants and a long chain. Well, that drill instructor had a field day with him. Oh my God. That guy didn't know where he was coming from.
Oh yeah, guys always had the habit of doing that in boot camp, is making themselves a target for the drill instructors. The goal is to blend in, not get yourself attention.
That's
that.
Right. Well, he got attention, all right.
What did you think of the drill instructors?
Oh, it's too bad I can't swear on television or whatever.
You can swear.
No, I don't want to.
It's nothing but Marines watching this.
Yeah, we had one sergeant. I suppose you guys want to know my name. Well, my name is Sergeant Moses. And I ain't the one that made the Ten Commandments. I broke every damn one of them. Because the guys laugh, you know. And that was a setup. Because the other drill instructor come over there to get the biggest guy that was laughing, the biggest one. Grabbed him by the throat and said, "You think that's funny?" And of course, after they get the big guy where you want him, everybody else falls in line. That was their plan.
Wow.
And it was scary, I tell you. I never left Gardner. I was just green as it could be, you know. Oh my God, where's my mother to protect me?
So the drill instructors could put their hands on you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, they do. They give you a kick in the rump too if you didn't move fast enough.
How long was boot camp?
Too long. 8 weeks, I guess. 8 weeks of hell.
And that was in Paris Island.
Paris Island, yes. Yeah.
After your 8 weeks, where did they send you?
I went to North Carolina and advanced infantry training, and then.
Were you just a basic infantryman, or were you a machine?
Yeah.
So a rifleman.
You're a rifleman.
And
Right.
did they call them 0311 back then?
No, I never heard that term.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you call it?
Well, today the MOS code for infantry is 0311.
Yeah.
And the 0331 is a machine gunner.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
No, in Peleliu, I was ammo carrier for a machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they weighed more than I did, for Christ's sake.
How long was advanced infantry training?
Boy, I wish I could have been prepared, but it wasn't. Let me say 8 weeks, but I don't know if it's correct or not.
Okay. Now, was that area called Camp Lejeune yet?
Camp Lejeune.
Okay.
Right. Yes. New River.
So after infantry training, then where did they send you?
After infantry training, they sent us to our final, division. I ended up with the 1st Marine Division.
Which was in Pendleton.
But
in California?
I can't remember if we went directly over to the Russell Islands or not. You see, like I said, today's not my day. I didn't sleep all night and I can't think for beans.
Sure. But eventually, you joined 1st Battalion, 5th Marines.
Yeah.
Where you met up with 1st Battalion, 5th Marines?
It was on in the Russell Islands. That's next door to the Guadalcanal.
So you headed over to the Pacific as a replacement?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
I did, yeah.
So you didn't know what unit you were going to be with?
No, not at the time, no.
Mm-hmm.
No. That I can remember. Which today I'm not doing too well, I guess, but
You're doing fine.
yeah.
You're doing fine. For your age, you know still a lot of details.
Yeah.
So the Russell Islands, what was it like over there? Was it jungle? Was it...
I got there's a picture of where the computer is. Yeah, it's jungle. It was right next to Guadalcanal.
Mm-hmm.
They had fought there, and the Russell Island was supposed to be our home base, to rest up and so forth. What a place! Coconuts, rats, big as a cat. Okay.
So was 1st Battalion, 5th Marines there on the Russell Islands, or was that just a repo depot? Okay,
they were there.
And at this time, they had already fought on Guadalcanal, right?
New Britain.
New Britain. Did they fight on Guadalcanal?
They
must have, I'm thinking.
I think they did.
Yeah. But you're saying You met up with them right after they fought at New Britain.
New Britain. I was a replacement there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How were the veterans? Did they treat the new guys well?
Yeah, we had no problem really. No. No, you know, people that have been through combat, they appreciate life, I guess, and they ain't about to raise hell with you. Not that I know of, anyway. No, I got along fine. I missed home, of course, and they told us we're training to go into combat, and I don't remember if they mentioned the island or not. I don't know if they did or not.
The veterans treated the new guys pretty well then.
Yeah, sure.
So on the Russell Islands, you guys did more training there?
Oh yeah, yeah. It wasn't too far from Guadalcanal. We'd get on LSTs and disembark in the Amtrak and did the whole thing.
Were there any Japanese prisoners at these islands or anything like that?
I never seen one.
Yeah.
I did see some, you know, the natives there, and they picked coconuts before they fell on your head, and they did. I went, oh, I want to get involved with one. Hey, boy, they're heavy. Yeah, that's.
So, after the Russell Islands, you guys trained with 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, and you were in A Company?
Yeah.
What was your next stop?
The next stop was combat. Went to Peleliu. Yeah.
And I believe Peleliu is September of 1944.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Were you guys on a big LST at first?
Yeah, I showed you there.
Yep.
Yeah. Get on the LST. Your Amtraks are down below. The ones you're going to get into and go ashore. In other words, your ship was all set to go ashore. It's just you get into the Amtraks in the ship, of course, and they let the plank down and they roll right out into the ocean.
How many men were in your Amtrak?
I think I would say 50 anyway.
So a whole platoon?
Yes. Yeah.
So what weapon were you carrying on this?
I was just carrying my rifle and ammunition.
Was it a M1 Grand or?
Yep. Yep. The M1. And the bandoliers. Yeah. And
were you guys nervous the night before the invasion, or?
Well, I don't think I was too nervous the night before. But getting into the Amtrak in the morning, you're wondering what's going to go on, of course. It's only natural. Then you would see some Amtraks actually get hit, you know. Japs would zero in on them because they lost all the men aboard. You're sitting ducks out there.
All right, we were just talking about how the night before no one's really nervous, but then when the Amtraks leave the ship,
yeah,
there's incoming fire.
Oh yeah, but thank God none came around us anyway. But yeah, people didn't seem too concerned because nobody would show that they're weak, so to speak. Everybody puts on their bravest face, of course.
Was the Air Force or the Navy strafing the island as you guys were going in?
Yes, yeah, they had Corsairs, I think, for one, and I don't know what the heck they call the other ones. I forget. Yeah, they were. The island was so small, really. 3 miles wide by either 6 or 9 miles long. That's all it was. Unbelievable. because they when they took aerial photos of the island, it was covered with jungle. They didn't see really what we were going to be up against. They didn't see the cave openings, which were numerous, and some caves would hold I heard a whole 5,000 people in one huge cave there.
Did you have an idea what wave you were? Which wave were you? Like a third wave, fourth wave?
No, I don't know now. I don't know.
But definitely not the first.
I can't say, to tell you the truth, because everybody was boarding the Amtraks, and I don't know. But the island was so small, you know that.
Yeah. Did you look overboard the Amtrak to take a look at what you were heading towards?
Yeah, thank God I was short. I don't think I could see over it. But you could hear it. You can hear.
You could hear the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I see a lot of videos where the Marines are getting wet. Did you get wet on the Amtrak?
No, I think most of that was. They probably landed maybe a couple of feet from shore or something, and then you had to wade across that little bit. That's how a lot of them got wet, I guess. But it's quite an experience. I was only there 5 minutes on that island. I was pressed up against a coconut tree. I can still see that just like it happened now. Damn bullet just missed me and hit the tree, you know, threw the bark in my face. I said, oh. This is for real, I says. Yeah.
Did you have to go over the side of the Amtrak?
No. They let the ramp down and you come out that way.
So you come out the rear of it or the front?
It's a front.
When you got off the Amtrak, what did you see? What was?
Just maybe from here to that doorway. So you got to see the island, period, part of trees, and you could hear the gunfire and explosions and all that, yeah.
Were there Marines wounded and dead on the sand and stuff?
First time I seen one when he was dead, yeah. I can only remember seeing that one. And, yeah, I'm sure there was plenty more,
But you just kept your eyes on getting to that tree line.
Oh, you have to keep going.
So you rush off the boat, the Amtrak,
yeah.
And you take cover behind a tree.
Yeah.
And did somebody take control of the situation? Was there any officers telling you guys where to go, what to do?
I didn't see one myself personally, but you knew you had to go ahead, so you eventually group up on the edge of the airfield. We all went up to the edge of the airfield the first day, and the second day was a big push across the airfield.
You were telling me before once you made yourself through the tree line, you're saying everybody is assembled before this airfield, right?
Well, we're on the edge of the airfield in the morning. We're all lined up.
So the first night, the mission was to get towards the airfield.
That's right.
I hear that you guys didn't have water.
That's true.
What happened?
Well, evidently, some of those cans they put the water in had diesel fuel in them, and they never really washed them out, so you couldn't drink the water. You could not drink the water, and it was 112, 115 out there. And I mean, you need water. In fact, it was so hot, your sweat would come through the uniform and immediately be white from the salt in your body that you lost. And it wasn't a pleasant place. It was very hot, and no water.
So guys were begging each other for canteen water.
Oh my God, you didn't dare take your eyes off your canteen, that's for sure. And you know they'd want a little drink too, and so I had to refuse because you know you're going to run out. The Japs had a counterattack that morning. They had their small tanks. They had troops in back of the tanks. And they would come streaking across the airfield. My God, they'd go like hell. They were small. We used to call them tankettes. And of course our tanks were much bigger, and they had a 75 millimeter. And I was right next to the tank. And the guy was looking up, you know. I said, there they are. He disappeared. Let go around, boy, that Jap tank. Because I was 2 feet in the air, I guess.
So he was in a Sherman tank. He was a Marine in a Sherman tank.
Yep.
And he blew the Japanese tank.
Oh, blew it up in the air, and the dead Japs troops too they got killed too. They were riding the back of the tank.
Were you shooting your M1 at them too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you get any of them?
No, God knows. You know. And then you're at the edge of the airfield. Prior to going across, we opened fire and to the other side. We didn't see anybody, I didn't see anybody, just shoot, and that's it. And when we did get to the other side, which was hairy, boy, we were wide open, you know, and the Japs had all the high ground machine guns. And I could see these bullets coming at me on the ground, hitting the ground. I dropped, you know, like I was hit. And it stopped, thank God. So stopped. I picked up the ammo boxes and went maybe from here to that door. They started again. I could see the bullets coming at me again. And I dropped again. And that was the last time I had to. I must have been out of their sight. And then we got across the airfield. And because there was a big tank trap. I got across the airfield, and there's Japanese bathroom, I guess, or whatever, because there was a shower, and it was tilted over, and it had water in the corner of it. Enough to fill, say, 2 canteens, really. But it was greenish. Didn't matter, it was wet.
So this was a Japanese soldier shower?
Yeah.
And you guys drank the water?
I did. I filled my canteen up with it. And they had halazone tablets. Maybe you had them too. It purifies the water somewhat. I dropped them in there and I drank. I had to. I was dying of thirst. God, you'd be surprised what you do when you have to. You think I would do that today? Oh, no. I can just see some Jap wiping his rump with a towel. Oh, my God. So we got across there. And
when you're rushing across the airfield, was there artillery coming in and motors and stuff?
Well, not so much that I noticed it was mortars. Because the airfield is big, and I mean we had a lot of troops there, so different sections might have got different kind of fire. You know, I don't know, but mine was machine gun fire. I could see the bullets coming from that door. I'd drop, and then they'd stop, and I'd wait a minute or two, and then grab the ammo boxes. I had to carry the ammo for our machine gunner. And took off again, them damn bullets come at me again, so I just dropped again. And the next time, I guess I was out of their range of sight. I wasn't bothered anymore. But I jumped into that trench, and there was a body, just no legs, no arms, no head. And he was wide open. You see all the intestines, everything, heart, lungs. It was a weird thing. I don't know how that would have ever happened. I would think his own men must have done it to him, I would think. I don't know how it would happen.
So it was a Japanese corpse?
Yeah. So I don't know how it would happen. But that was, oh, that's enough to turn your stomach. So many things that young kids shouldn't see, you know. No. Terrible. Yeah, well.
So after you get across that airfield, was there some sort of airport building or something, you guys?
Oh yeah, there was a big building. I went into that building.
That's where the shower was, you said, right?
No, the shower was prior for me going in. I don't know if that was the same building or not, but it would have been a different angle anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a big administrative building there. We went in there, me and my lieutenant, and we didn't find anybody there that would.
But before you guys crossed the airfield, the Japanese tried to do a counterattack.
Oh yeah, yep.
How many of them do you think they were that you were looking at?
Well, I could say I looked at two. I don't know how many. You know, the airfield's pretty big. It was all airfield, that island is about. And, because you get concentrated on what you're seeing, you know.
But
I really don't know.
How many tanks did you see coming across?
I only seen, say, 3. I seen.
But our tanks took care of them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they must have had fun.
I steered one guy towards a Jap tank. I said, there he is over there. And he disappeared. Bam! He picked that tank right off the ground. Picked it right off the ground when it hit it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the tanks, they were called tankettes. They were, yeah.
So that second night you guys crossed the airfield, did you sleep? Did you sleep on the other side of the?
Oh yeah.
Now, what was it like trying to sleep on Peleliu? Did one guy have to stay awake? The other guy slept?
We had guards. Yeah, everybody takes a turn during the night. Yeah. Yep, you do that. And they could come into your hole just without you knowing it, you know. Japs could come there and cut your damn throat. Yeah. It wasn't a pleasant place. That was terrible.
So what I hear.
Yeah.
What was 1st Battalion, 5th Marines' objective after the airfield? I always hear about you guys going into these hills. Was there any hills you had to go over? These rocky cliffs?
Oh yeah, that's where the Japs had all their caves. They were well protected, and they could see you coming. You didn't see them, of course. And you know, when they took photographs of the island, I guess they didn't take account of the jungle. They didn't take that into account, the way the Japs could hide.
So where did you have to go after the airfield? What was your next?
To go into the mountains there.
Okay.
Clean out them. Yeah, that's terrible.
Did you lose any friends at this point?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Up in the hills or on the airfield?
On the hill. I lost one on the airfield too. You know, we were told in training to disable a tank is to disable their periscope so they can't see where they're going. And we had one fellow named Dixon. Now, the tank was maybe here to the door when he started. He picked up his rifle and trying to find that periscope, I guess. And he stayed there too long. The tank ran him over. He looked like a piece of cardboard when I got done with him. Just like a piece of cardboard.
Did you go to Paris Island with Dixon?
No, I didn't. No, I met all these other guys later. Yeah.
Do you know where he's buried these days?
I know they had to bury him there.
Oh, I'll look him up for you. So these hills, tell me about these hills. Did you have to? Was there a certain way you had to climb up to this area? Was it all uphill from there?
Well, it's like airfield's flat, and then this monstrous cliff would be you'd have to get up in there. Because they had caves in there, like, I heard they could put 500 soldiers in one cave alone that they had built.
Did you take sniper fire before you got to these
Oh, yeah, you're under fire all the time, you know what I mean? Somebody's under fire. I don't say I was, per se.
Did anybody in your platoon or company have a flamethrower?
We had a flamethrower, yes. Yeah, that didn't... That's an awful thing to be facing, I'll tell you. You don't want to face that thing.
You saw them use it in action?
Oh, yeah. It fried the Jap right there in the bunker. Oh, yeah, don't take long.
Did they try to run out of the bunker, the Japanese, or?
Yeah, one did. In fact, two of them, the one I shot, he come flying out of there. And the only reason why I shot him, the guy next to me was going to bayonet him. I didn't want to see that. I mean, enemy soldier and all that, but you know, he's still a soldier. And you know, this guy, why you want to do that? I mean, but anyway, I shot him so he wouldn't be able to bayonet him.
And he was already on fire though at this point, right?
No, he wasn't. He started to get a little on fire when he left. If I can remember, I can't remember exactly. But I think he was starting to catch fire, but I guess it was out anyway by the time I shot him. I don't know how it got out. Maybe, I don't know. Things happen fast. You don't have time to memorize them and keep them there, you know.
Did I've had other Marines show me gold teeth.
I couldn't do that.
But you saw guys doing it.
Yeah. Why you want to do that? Well, there's different people. I mean, sometimes heat of combat, they're not themselves sometimes, you know. I don't know what would prompt them to do that. I could see if they were laying there, yeah, but...
Be honest with me. I find a lot of veterans who fought in Europe, they have respect for the Germans. They say the Germans were just doing their jobs. But to this day, it's hard for me to find veterans who actually respect the Japanese.
You know, I may be the exception, but I keep thinking of this soldier, especially the one I shot, and what he had for a family, and mother and father, and how I took the other side and kind of thought about it a little bit, you know. Why, I don't know. But it's different when you face a guy and shoot him right there, you know. Yeah, it ain't like you shot a mile away, you don't know who you hit. I mean, I didn't take any great pleasure doing it. I just did it so he wouldn't get bayoneted. But.
Yeah, but luckily it's not easy, but luckily you did what you had to do to stop the Japanese Empire from rampaging across the world.
Yeah, I know.
You know, thank God for people like you. And you've handled it well because you've raised a great family.
Yeah.
You're 95 years old.
Yeah.
The finish line, you know, will be 105 maybe.
I hope.
But and you know, young Marines like me get to sit here in front of you and spread this message to other Marines who might feel guilt for doing their job as a Marine.
Yeah. You got to remember you are a soldier, and you got to do what you're told to do. Plus, if you didn't do it, this guy would live to kill one Marine, you know.
Were the flamethrowers used more during this whole the cave area that you're talking about? Were they before that or after?
No, they were using a lot of it right there if they find a bunker. a foxhole, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they flame it. They put the flame in there. Oh yeah, I could hear him scream. Ah. The war, not pretty. Not pretty.
Did you have to go into these caves yourself or throw a satchel charge in there or things like that?
No, I don't remember. No satchel charge. I may have thrown a grenade. I don't know now. I don't remember.
You were telling me you lost a friend up in those caves area, right?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh, good God. He wasn't a close friend. I knew him.
Yeah. What happened to him?
Yeah, he got shot. He stuck his head up too high. And they showed some films of them lowering him down. He was dead, you know. Yeah, they were lowering him to take him back to the beach, I guess.
So there was video of this?
There is a video of it, yeah. Not him getting shot, per se, if I can remember.
No, him being evacuated.
But it showed him taking him down off that. It was just cliff, you know, just rocks.
Did you ever read any books about Peleliu?
No, I got some, though.
With the old breed?
No, I got some here now. My grandson gave me some.
Yeah, Eugene Sledge.
Yeah, you seen? Yeah,
he wrote a nice.
I seen him.
Yeah, with the old breed. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked. Did I talk to him? No, but he was sitting there with a couple, 3 Marines there, and they told me who it was.
Was this at a reunion years later, or?
No, that was during combat.
Oh, okay. You have a Purple Heart. Did you get wounded on Peleliu, or was that Okinawa?
Yeah, Okinawa.
We haven't even. Wow.
Yeah, I got it. My daughter took it, and she gave it to my grandson. He's a doctor in Texas, and he got it on the wall there. He gets all kind of comments on it. And one guy called me up even.
How long were you on Peleliu for?
Well, there's a little story with that. Major Purtis or whatever, Purtis was our commander. And the day before, they give you a briefing, they show you the island, they expect what you want to do, what you got to do, and so forth. And he said, this is going to be a quick one. We're going to be out there in 2 days. Well, it took 40 days. Somebody screwed up on the intelligence on that island. They didn't see half the caves that were there to begin with, I guess. They didn't. The jungle obscured them or whatever, but they didn't do a good job, you know, getting the facts on the island. Then they had an adjoining island too. That was an airfield. Yeah, so they could shoot from both islands. Well, we got them, but it wasn't 2 days. I give the Japs credit, boy. They do what they told to do. Yeah. They were good fighters.
So you guys were there for like 2 or 3 months, I think, right?
40 days, if I remember right.
Yeah. And I heard that they never used the airfield. Is that true?
Never used it. Biggest waste of human life. I guess it was 9,000 Japs or 10,000 Japs got killed. We had quite a few killed too. Yeah, wounded.
What was the closest call you had on Peleliu?
Well, I got a piece of shrapnel in my head. Good thing it wasn't full force. I wouldn't have been here.
Where was that? on the...
Peleliu at the edge of the airfield. We dug in for the night.
So you did they give you a Purple Heart for that?
No, no. I got an Okinawa.
But you should have 2 of them.
Yeah, but I didn't say nothing. Nah. But, yeah, an Okinawa got blown right out of my damn foxhole.
Was it a relief? Was it a relief to leave Peleliu?
Oh, yeah, very much so, yeah. Yeah, there were no good memories there.
And how much time off did you have between Peleliu and Okinawa?
It wasn't that much. Surprisingly, I can't remember the time limit, but it wasn't much. It wasn't too long. We were back. And, of course, they were painting a awful picture of the landing on Okinawa was going to be tough. There was a cliff to begin with, and they had made ladders to carry. So we have to, supposedly, to get on land, we'd have to climb the ladder to get over the hill there. And as far as I can remember, there wasn't even a shot fired from the other side, not even a shot. And we did pretty well getting over the cliff. I don't remember if we had to use a ladder or not. I don't remember now. But I don't know if we did. So I'm going to leave that.
Was there a particular beach? Did you guys go in the same way on Amtrak again?
Yeah. And because the Amtrak's couldn't get ashore there, they had that big walls, cliff, the edge of a cliff, if I remember right, and that's why they had the ladders. But Jesus, I wish I'd known this was coming up. I would have paid more attention when I was doing it.
See, but you don't remember utilizing the ladders.
I don't remember using it. We may have, but I don't remember. But I remember we got on land there. Very eerie. There was not a shot. No enemy soldier. None. They had moved them all down south, where the Shuri line was, and that's where they moved them down south. The whole army was down there waiting for us.
And is that where you first saw combat, on the Shuri line?
Yeah. We didn't have nothing to shoot at prior to that.
So you guys went through the north, and there was nothing there, pretty much?
Nothing.
Were there civilians?
Civilians, the poor things, they were petrified because they were told all kind of crap about us. It's a matter of my throat anyway. And they had a woman, she come out, and she's trying to tell us that she was nursing, you know. She was showing how she was nursing a child. And she was black with fleas. My God, the fleas on that woman from being in that cave. Oh, my God. And the little kids, they were shaking, you know. I'd give them one of my sea ration chocolate bars, and I felt so bad for them little things. But the civilians were probably surprised that they were treated as good as they were, because they were told other things. Some actually just jumped off the cliffs there just so we wouldn't molest them, you know, for no reason, just what they were told. Yeah.
So at some point, from my understanding and research, was the Army began to have a hard time in the South.
It probably did. It probably did.
And they said, you guys got to turn around from the north and head south to the Shuri line, like you said, to help.
Yeah.
And that the same goes with the 6th Division, too.
Yeah.
And I guess this is where it got real hairy. The Japanese were in the hills.
Oh, yeah. They owned everything up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could look down on you. And, well, the way I got it was in the foxhole, of course. and this shell came within feet of hitting me directly, but it kind of blew me out of the damn foxhole, you know, just like give me a hell of a push. And I don't remember much after that. I just must have blown my mind, you know.
Was there anyone else in the foxhole with you?
No.
Was it Japanese artillery?
Yeah. Oh, they're really shelling us that morning. Yeah.
So that morning, so was this? So you guys moved south, and then what? You dug in, and that's kind of the barrage came the next day. Is that what happened?
I don't know if it was, because I can't remember if we got there early or later that day. I can't remember. But I know we got fired, but I don't know if it was the same day that we got there or maybe the next.
Were there any, did you see any Japanese soldiers before this point? Or did you guys engage any Japanese before this point?
Not live.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some dead ones, yeah. And, no, I never seen a live one there.
No tanks or anything before?
No, none of their tank. I didn't see any, no, but I seen, we'd hit a couple of hours, I was smoking and burning. Yeah, like I said, going across there was like going to a picnic. There was nothing.
Have you heard of Sugarloaf Hill?
I've heard, yes.
Yeah, I believe that was mostly the 6th Marine Division.
Yeah, probably.
That was somewhere down in that area,
yeah,
too.
Yeah. The Shuri Line, we called it. Yeah. But like I says, for me, my experience in Okinawa, which was not too long, but it was so different from Peleliu. So different.
When you got blown out of the foxhole, did you wake up in a field hospital? Or did you remember the corpsman coming to get you?
No, I can remember parts of it where this other Marine was, whether he was a corpsman or what, was walking me out. And they put me in the hospital for a week. And I think I lost it. Well, a shell landing that close, you're going to lose something. That's for sure.
Were you hit with any shrapnel at all? Was it just
No, I didn't. No, I was pretty well below the horizon, you know.
Yeah.
Because you could see them walking them shells towards you, you know, so you didn't stick your head up.
Did any of your buddies get killed on Okinawa, do you know of?
That fellow there, Hayes, yeah. He got killed there.
Was it after you had gotten evacuated?
I can't tell you that because I didn't even know he was hit that time. But I found out after I joined my outfit again. They told me that Hayes got killed.
So Hayes must have got. Did Hayes die after you had already got taken off the line?
I can't tell you if it was the same day I did or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard he got a bullet. Killed him.
Where was he from?
California. Yeah. The nicest guy you could ever want to meet. Oh, yeah. Nice guy. So I was in the hospital for a week. Then they shipped us to the States. Went up to Farragut, Idaho. You have a big naval hospital up there. Stay there.
In Idaho?
Yeah.
Didn't even know Idaho was near any water.
I know. The hospital, I guess, don't need it.
Yeah.
No, Hayes' family contacted me, and you know, I should have kept in contact with them people, because I thought the world of Hayes. Was the nicest guy.
How old do you think he was?
Hayes? Early 20s. 21 maybe.
All right, so maybe he didn't have kids then.
No, he wasn't even married, no. Mm-hmm. Maybe 20, I don't know how old he was. Young guy.
You were saying the Marines, you were telling me about the Japanese bodies that were bloated and what the Marines did?
Yeah, one would step on him, make him burp. Burp. I mean, they were swollen up, too. Another one says, shoot him, to hell with the expense. And shot him again, he's dead, and he shot him. Hell with the expense. Just something not right with them guys that do that.